Sun Tzu wrote, "All warfare is based on deception, the ultimate strategic corporate truth." In 2015, the world celebrated OpenAI as a pure research organization dedicated to safety. Its mission promised open development, actively resisting concentrated corporate moats dominating modern technological infrastructure. Yet beneath that idealistic narrative, a massive corporate capital trap was quietly being set. This warfare is not simply about compute, ethical alignment, or technological progress shaping humanity. Welcome to Episode 1, the structural deception behind OpenAI's rise into absolute geopolitical influence. To understand today's legal crossfire, we must revisit the competitive tech landscape a decade earlier. At the time, Google aggressively consolidated computing ambitions by acquiring deep learning pioneer DeepMind. Elite researchers feared artificial intelligence capabilities, becoming permanently locked within dominant monopolistic corporate silos. To counter this existential threat, Elon Musk and Sam Altman forged a sacred alliance. This defensive formulation mirrored Sun Tzu's axiom, "In absolute danger, consolidate your forces." Together, they established OpenAI as a strictly non-profit laboratory dedicated toward broadly beneficial execution. The media celebrated this ethical stance, blinding the masses to the underlying financial mechanics. But in the artificial intelligence race, philosophical ideals are instantly crushed by physical realities. Advanced computational networks require specialized hardware arrays, massive data pipelines, and heavy operational burn. In the language of war, compute power is the essential supply line sustaining troops. Pushing parameters demanded continuous billions, funneled directly into server clusters and massive energy grids. Traditional non-profit capital reserves proved defenseless against corporate hyperscalers, aggressively deploying unlimited balance sheets. Without massive continuous funding, their strategic momentum would freeze during critical expansion phases. Recognizing this structural deficit, Musk devised a radical defensive maneuver to secure necessary capital. He proposed merging OpenAI directly into Tesla, demanding centralized leadership to aggressively accelerate deployment. This aggressive structural consolidation executed Sun Tzu's directive. He who exercises unified command wins. Musk saw the non-profit limitation as a fatal structural flaw, requiring immediate absolute control. Conversely, Sam Altman recognized that surrendering total authority to Musk would destroy his personal leverage. Rather than submitting to Tesla, Altman quietly orchestrated a brilliant counteroffensive using external forces. He bypassed internal barriers, directly opening confidential corporate channels with computing giant Microsoft. This calculated diversionary alignment perfectly validated Sun Tzu's ancient stratagem: borrow a passage to attack. Altman understood Microsoft desperately needed an advanced AI weapon to survive against Google's operational dominance. To extract Microsoft's billions without sacrificing the public facade. Altman engineered a corporate masterpiece. He deployed the capped profit subsidiary, an elegant structural shield designed for pure financial arbitrage. Proponents claimed this structure achieved commercial scalability while formally maintaining protective non-profit board oversight. Strategic realists recognized that extreme financial incentives would ruthlessly rewrite organizational priorities over time. $13 billion flowed inward, securing infrastructure while permanently altering global competitive corporate positioning. The ethical board remained intact on paper, but absolute operational power shifted toward financial capital. Capped profit functions as an illusion, masking a highly efficient corporate wealth extraction machine. Institutional risk premiums dropped as Microsoft secured exclusive distribution channels across major global markets. The partnership aggressively accelerated deployment while deeply hardwiring internal model architecture into Azure frameworks. This definitive alliance immediately handed Microsoft the absolute enterprise advantage over longtime rival Google. Musk realized his strategic positioning had been dismantled from within the foundation he originally funded. Foundational principles of transparency were quietly abandoned to protect proprietary technological competitive advantages. Altman successfully leveraged external capital to build an unassailable moat around core compute infrastructure. By monopolizing the physical supply lines, he established total dominance over internal organizational execution. This absolute capture of infrastructure executed Sun Tzu's law: secure the critical terrain first. Overnight, a specialized laboratory transformed into the undisputed central engine driving global technological warfare. Simultaneously, regulatory anxiety regarding proprietary black boxes and concentrated corporate power intensified across the industry. These underlying systemic tensions suddenly detonated during the unexpected executive removal of Sam Altman. The abrupt boardroom strike sent instant operational shockwaves through global equity and sovereign markets. Within hours, Microsoft aggressively leveraged its infrastructure control to protect its massive capital investment. Altman ultimately reclaimed command with absolute authority, neutralizing the non-profit board's operational oversight completely. But that chaotic weekend exposed the dark reality operating behind slick corporate public relations. The conflict was never about altruistic safety guidelines, open source principles, or charitable board stewardship. It was a raw, existential street fight over computing infrastructure, absolute leverage, and corporate survival. Once multi-billion-dollar strategic assets are deployed, temporary alliances instantly devolve into absolute corporate warfare. Inside modern corporate battlefields, true authority never belongs to polished manifestos or idealistic founders. Power belongs exclusively to whoever controls the physical compute pipelines and capital distribution networks. Soon, a fractured boardroom would orchestrate the most ruthless corporate assassination attempt in modern history. Subscribe for Episode 2, the silent boardroom coup that nearly burned OpenAI to the ground.